Many thanks for staying with us on the 12 report. Now, we did mention earlier that it's a wet start of the day here in Lagos, and one would wonder why it's still raining in December. Well, I, for one, experienced a bit of traffic on my way to work because of the pockets of water as well. We have our correspondent, Victor Mbadike, who currently is outside on the streets of Lagos and will tell us what the situation is out there. Victor, I can see that you're almost standing inside water, if not inside water. What's the situation where you are?
I'm not almost standing. Well, just like you said, we were really shocked to wake up with sounds of rain. I mean, in December, that's quite shocking. But what is more shocking is the fact that it was just a very light rain. I mean, it just rained for a few minutes, maybe less than 1 hour. And then what we have here, Jesus. What we have here right now, this is Ikeja. This stretch leads us from the airport, so it means it clearly shows that all the way from the airport, there's a huge traffic caused by this heavy flood that you can see right here. Okay, and so all of them heading towards either Maryland or any other part of the mainland. But of course, before they could get to this point where I am currently, they might have to spend a couple of more hours. And that, of course, has also affected the other side of the road. As you can see also, the other side of the road is heavily trafficked. And they are either heading towards the airport or heading towards any other part of Ikeja or GRA, as a matter of fact. But again, the question remains as to why do we really have such incidences? Let's be honest. Yes, some parts of Lagos are flooded. And one of such reasons will be because of poor drainage system. Now, if you look at this very one that I'm on currently, they will like to please, if you look at this axis, this particular place where the drainage is expected to be, it looks as if it is choked, it looks as if it is weak, it looks as if it can no longer contain much water. So which means that for the next 2-3 hours, we might still have this particular space of flood here. So it means that the state government should begin to do something about this particular drainage system here. It looks weak, it needs to get better, because otherwise we'll keep having this recurrence of floods in this particular axis. This is the Ikeja axis, the one that leads straight down to the airport. And you can see clearly behind me, there's a slow movement of vehicles, and that's because of this particular flood. So blessings, like I said earlier, it's showers of blessings on some parts of Lagos, while some others are telling you now, see, we can't get to our places of work, we can't get to our destinations because there are no buses. And some of them are actually trekking to wherever they're going to because of this heavy flooding here. Blessings.
All right, Victor, before we let you go, I mean, we have been reporting over and over again about this flood situation, especially when you see the lightest rains here in Lagos. And one would wonder, is it that the appropriate authorities are not doing the necessary thing? Because every time we talk about flooding, it's almost always certain that we'll talk about poor drainage systems. So I know you're no specialist, but who do you think is to blame in this situation? Is the authority doing what they should do? And sometimes we can also talk about the fact that some of the dirts we throw around are clogging the drainage system. So which is it, Victor?
So, blessings, it goes two ways. One, the government, of course, is culpable in this matter because, like I said, this particular drainage here has been probably done for decades. You expect the state government to review some of their infrastructures to see how they can make it much better so that they can accommodate the kind of distress and disruptions that flooding, brings or, comes up with every now and then. But clearly, they have not looked at that. Again, look at the characters or behaviors of residents in Lagos who just throw dirt in our drainages. So it brings about a weak system. So when rain falls like this, the dirt or the waste, blocks drainages, and this is what it can also cause. But I'm not saying that what is causing this particular flood here is either the waste or the fault from the government. But again, it goes both ways. So it means that government really needs to look at all those places in Lagos that has, drainage systems, how they can make it much, much better. Again, you must give kudos to the state government because there's so much road rehabilitation going around the parts of Lagos. I'm pretty sure they're also putting all of this into check, putting all of this into consideration. But for existing roads and existing drainages, they should look at some of these places and see how they can improvise and make it much better and see how they can, avoid such disasters. You can look at that officer just right down to my left. He's doing everything he can to assist, motorists, in terms of free flow of traffic. But I hope in the next few hours, this entire flood disappears. Otherwise, for the most part of the day, we are all going to be stuck in these traffic blessings.
All right, Victor Mbadike, do also stay safe, and I hope nothing is holding on to your legs as you stand in the water. Well, you've seen it, the update on the flooding situation caused by the lightest rain here in Lagos.